Yes, 12:03.
Very well, it's 12:03. We're going to resume our meeting and go into our budget workshop. Okay. Okay, first of all, there were some changes that occurred in the information that we sent you all. The tax assessor collector sent us a correction yesterday on the rolling stock, and so that changed our calculations. So it changed it to where in our budget review we had said that the effective tax rate would be 0.6467, and that has changed to 0.6453. So at this time, Leslie, received tax assessor collector's 2018 effective tax rate calculation and verification of collection rate. We put it at 95% or better. Is that yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so B, discuss the FY 2019 proposed salaries, expenses, and allowances of elected officials. The draft listing was put in there for your review, and it shows a 2.5 cost of living adjustment, assuming that we would go with at least a 2.5 for the employees. Any questions on that?
So you're saying that no elected official,
No, the proposed is for a 2.5 increase, which we've put in there, assuming that their employees would at least go with MAG Inc. or at least receive a 2.5 increase also.
I'm going to decline mine.
Okay.
Just take mine off till we get these employees some more money. I'm not going to take another raise.
Very well. What about your longevity?
Yeah. Leave that on there.
Okay. Very well. Okay, anyone else? That's going to get posted. We have statutory requirements on this one, on the notice.
You need a motion or not?
No, sir. At this point. Everything else is salary and longevity is really it. Okay. And then determine the proposed tax rate. So basically, you can disregard a lot of the information we sent to you on the review, since we had to change the tax rate. So the tax rate, the proposed, is at the 6461, which is no change. Doesn't change. It doesn't change the. It does change where we have to do notices. Originally, we weren't going to have to do notices, but we are going to have to do notices now. And so, because the effective rate is 0.6453. Now, we were asked by some of our elected officials to move forward to estimate what a 1 cent increase in the tax rate would be. And that would be to take it from 0.6461 to 0.6561, and it would generate approximately $298,000 if the court wishes to consider that. So, do you all wish to consider the 6461 as the tax rate?
I'll make that as a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. The Polk County's 2018 tax rate will be at the rate of 0.6461, and it will be adopted at the regular Commissioners Court session to be held on Tuesday, September 11th, 2018 at 10 a.m. in the Commissioners Courtroom of Polk County Courthouse in Livingston.
That's the same rate we had this year.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. That's no change in the actual tax rate itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a call vote on that. Okay, the motion was made by Commissioner Purvis and seconded by
Me.
Tommy Overstreet. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries, but now we have to do a call rate. Okay, Commissioner Purvis, I'm taking that as a yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Vincent?
Yes.
Commissioner Willis? You have to speak up.
Yes.
Commissioner Overstreet?
Yes.
And Judge Murphy, yes. Okay, and then we will place it on the agenda for the meeting on the 11th and schedule the public hearings. The public hearings will be held on August the 28th, 2018 at 9:30 a.m. and on September 4th, 2018 at 4 p.m. to allow the public to comment either direction. Okay, item D, discussion of the FY 2019 proposed budget, which, and this is the budget that will be filed for public inspection. Okay, you should have your preliminary budget that we sent you. And I will go through some of this. If you go to page 1, there's really little or no change. And keep in mind that this budget is sticking to the 6461, and we are not planning on using fund balance to balance it. If you go on to page 2 and page 3, that information is basically the same as it was in the last time. Anybody have any questions on that? It's maintaining this budget right now as it is maintaining the same rate for road and bridge as in the past. Okay, if you go to page 4, there's a modification there. You should have in there that the total, including the target balance, reflects an increase at the very bottom of the page on page 4, an increase of $73,307. And otherwise, there's not a whole lot of change in that from the previous drafts that we looked at. And then we get to capital purchase projections. Okay, on the capital purchase projections, these are all the requests that were done. At one time, we did have tax office signage on that, but we can handle that in the 2018 budget. And so that request has been made.
Question. Ours is still the same on a capital, on purchase, on road bridge equipment.
Yes, sir, that goes through your budget.
Okay, I just want to clarify that because I just going through my budget and I did let your office know what my intentions were.
Yeah, no, yes, sir, no, sir. This
It still
right
goes
here-
on my debt service.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Not affect your end of the year. Okay.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Just want to make that clear.
This is capital purchase projections that will go on tax notes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that will be placed on tax notes. So if you go to the very top, the prior tax note issues, if you'll notice, okay, it starts with this year, the tax notes that we just issued, right? Which for 2018 was for $995,000, right?
Yep.
In 2017, there was no issue because we used our IH monies that had accumulated. And then 2016, we had $145,000 worth of tax notes. And then in the years prior to that, you have those numbers up there.
Yeah.
So for comparison purposes, you can see what the prior tax note issues look like. Okay, so if you go through the capital purchase projections, you have the museum needs some repairs and new sprinkler system. We have vehicles, requests for vehicles. Maintenance, if you will recall, for the last couple of years, maintenance has asked for new vehicles. Last year, they got left off the list. They were supposed to receive one of the trade-ins, and it didn't happen. The jail is asking for vehicles. Constable Precinct 4 is asking for a vehicle. The sheriff is asking for 8. And then Extension is asking for one truck. Emergency Management has stated that if they need to, they can wait one more year, so we'll probably take them off of there. And then the computer equipment, and this is going to be where the large purchase is, which is the Odyssey Judicial Software. So the total, mostly the big bulk of it is in the Odyssey Judicial Software, and out of the $816,318.99. And then office furnishings and equipment, you can go down there and see you have a request from JP3, you have a request from the treasurer, and then the jail and the sheriff, and then emergency management. Any questions on those requests?
On those. Sheriff, didn't you say you had a grant on those tasers? Wasn't there something that was?
I'm not sure we got a grant on the tasers.
No, there was no grant.
Was that on the cameras? We got, I thought there was something at $36,000 here a while back you presented to the court.
That was grant on vest.
Vest, that's what it was. Okay, okay.
And the tasers, that's certainly an option for us to look at in terms of trying to find some grants that will pay for that. Yeah. Anyway, the total debt that is being requested at this time is $1,634,609.95. And so we obviously need to whittle down on this. Last year we tried to stay under $1 million. We were very successful. I don't think that we can ask to stay under $1 million given the fact that we have the Odyssey Judicial Software in there, so I don't think that's possible for us to stay under $1 million. But if we could stay at $1.2 million, then I think that would be more reasonable. We also gave you a listing of the number of vehicles currently in every department so that you could take a look at it. And so it includes everybody in the county that has vehicles. So our large vehicle.
Does this include our dump trucks and stuff on the road and bridge?
No, sir, we didn't go back and look at road and bridge. This is just vehicles. And so you just need to ignore road and bridge because they're not in our general fund at this time.
But that's not the most current list because we are doing our conversion on our software. So there's stuff that we need to input, but we can't input it until we get to the new software.
So this is as current as they can get it right now. As current as the auditor can get
I'm just looking at some of these numbers. It looks kind of high with the auctions we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have,
things like that.
because they're in the middle of a conversion. So
okay,
that's
so
why I'm
take
saying
that off.
Ignore road and bridge completely.
Okay.
Okay, but this kind of gives you an idea. And basically, part of what we did is we just went in and looked at the insurance, not for road and bridge, because we took you all off completely, but for vehicles that are currently on our insurance in terms of other departments. Okay, so we have a lot of departments that just have 1 or 2 vehicles. But your district attorney has 5, your maintenance has 12, jail work crew 10, constable 1 has 5, constable 3 has 2, sheriff's department has 46. And then if you look to the side, you can see if they have other vehicles, buses or larger vehicles. And then aging has 4, but most of those are like vans or buses.
What's this waste management vehicle?
I think that's a remnant.
There was waste management vehicles that I believe got transferred to other departments a long time ago, but it needs to be in the waste management. That's just stuff we need to clean up.
So part of it also is that this new software transition is going to allow us to clean up some of these records also, to where those transfers that have occurred between departments can be verified or considered or looked at. Okay, where do you want to start? Extension also had requested a vehicle last year, if you will recall. Our extension agents did, and so
I think we need to leave theirs.
yes, sir. I would agree to that.
I think we need to take care of maintenance this year also, so.
Okay, and so let's go ahead and take emergency management off.
Well, wasn't there some discussion on that Suburban they had going possibly to maintenance? And, because they're not utilizing it right now, are they?
Yes, sir, they are utilizing it, but they wanted to go to a smaller, more energy efficient
Yeah, I
vehicle.
understand that.
And so it's not that they're not utilizing it. If they relinquish that vehicle, well, then they will have to have a replacement.
If we could give that one to Jay, and if they want a smaller SUV, that would be some savings there, wouldn't it?
Yes, sir.
I'm fine with that. Yes, sir.
Huh?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So we transfer,
Still leaving the one new one though.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could transfer that to maintenance.
Suburban. Yeah, there's Suburban.
And so leave that 30,000 and then take maintenance down to 30,000 for one vehicle.
You all right, you get that one used vehicle and one new one?
I'm good with that, sir.
There ain't nothing wrong with that one.
I appreciate the court doing that.
Okay. I do have to say Constable Precinct 4 very seldom asks for anything.
He's drove the wheels off his.
And then,
Is there any discussion with him on trading that one off or retaining that one? Or do you know?
he did not specify. I think he wants just to add another vehicle.
Keep the one he's got
And
and add
keep the
that
one
one?
he's
Okay.
got because he has a new reserve deputy that's willing to help him. In the IT areas, there's really nothing, there's certainly nothing significant that would provide assistance.
On our request down at the bottom, I'll pay for that. I guess Casey put that in there.
Yes, sir, because everything that's an IT request, we went ahead and put in.
Okay, but I'll pay. You can cut that out. I'll pay for that.
Okay.
Judge, you can also take off my request for the 2 laser printers and cartridges, because I have that money in my budget now to purchase that.
Okay, so you go ahead and purchase it in 2018?
I can purchase that now.
Okay. Okay.
I'll do that.
So that'll go to 2018 then, okay? Okay, we know that the district clerk cannot do without that, because that's some of the areas that she needs assistance in. The tech rotation is basically what we asked Casey to do, which was to go through and make sure that we were maintaining up-to-date equipment everywhere. And that's across every department. So the only area really that we can cut a lot is going to be in office furnishings equipment or in the vehicles. The jail certainly cannot do without a washer and a dryer. And we actually tried to find a way to get that into the 2018 budget, but we were unable to do so. And then they need the trust fingerprint system. And I certainly don't want to cut out anything that would safety equipment, like the tasers and incident response. Joey, can you tell the court a little bit about what that is?
On the,
You're gonna have to come to the mic. We discussed it in budget workshop, but I let him address the court and kind of tell you what it is.
as far as the pepper ball guns and whatnot, Judge,
Yes, sir, the incident response equipment and tasers.
right now we have nothing in the jail. We have tasers. We have 2 tasers in the jail that our supervisors can carry when they're there. As far as the officers having anything when they respond to a situation in a cell, they have nothing on their person but their hands and their mouth. We're asking the courts to be able to allow us to purchase some equipment, pepper ball guns, pepper spray, some things that they'll have, they can carry with them or readily available to them to help diffuse situations when they do have combative inmates in the back.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then, of course, the tasers and radio communication repair for the sheriff's department. Falls kind of in the same category. So the total on vehicles, if we're going to take out 30, that puts us at 646. 530. The majority of those are either the jail or the sheriff's departments.
Sheriff, you gonna need the 8 cars you're requesting this year? All of them? Right?
I do believe that 2 of those will be going into the jail as well.
You're going to have to.
And I don't have the exact numbers. Captain Sanders couldn't be here, but I just texted him. But I do believe 2 of those will be going into transport for the jail, and then the others for patrol. And we do need those vehicles for patrol.
So the jail is asking for 3 new vehicles, and you're going to transfer 2 vehicles?
Transfer 2 vehicles?
Yeah, you said,
Yeah, you said
out of these vehicles you got 8 vehicles. So 2 of them be going to the jail, and 6 of them 6 new vehicles will go to.
I'm sorry. So we've got 3 for.
I believe that
3 for the jail.
3 for the. When me and John Sanders, when Cap Sanders talked, we're looking at getting a new work van, a new transport, and 2 new transport vehicles.
We thought we was going to be able to. So we're going to have to replace the van. So that will be 3 for the 3 for the
jail and 5 for the SO.
And it's going to be. Is it 5 for the SO side?
Well, there's 8 vehicles.
I thought it was 11 altogether.
Yes, sir. It's a total of 11 vehicles.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, the jail is 11 of them.
Okay.
I think that's where we need to cut down a little bit, and let these gentlemen then figure out how they need to arrange it.
Judge, in regard to vehicles, with the contract, we're trying to negotiate with Big Sandy
Yes,
in
sir.
regard to that. It is a brand new vehicle that they will be paying for, that we buy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's included in here?
No, that's not included in there.
So-
We had no idea about that when we submitted those
Yes, sir.
vehicles.
Yes,
So
sir. When we were
I just want
discussing
to make
it.
it, that's what was in the contract we're looking at, that they would pay $13,000 a year
Yes, sir.
for purchase of
For
vehicles.
the use of the vehicle.
Okay.
Okay, it's up to the court.
Judge, it's not much, but if I could next month buy the mower out of my current budget that I'm requesting and make it then. I don't want to do it before then in case anything major comes up. Just understand now that capital outlay, if anything major come up after that last 2 or 3 weeks of the budget,
Yeah.
I'll attempt to buy that out of this year's budget, and that that 6,000, I think I requested, could cut a little bit more.
Okay, so we can eliminate that.
If nothing major happens.
Nothing major happens, it's gotta come from somewhere.
Judge,
Yes, ma'am.
I believe that the district clerk's office has fund balance money in our preservation fund that we could buy that scanner if we needed to through that
Okay.
fund balance.
With the drive network and the scanner?
All $5,600 worth?
I believe I have about 40,000 in there if I was,
Okay, okay. That helps.
that'll buy a car. Me and him, his 6,000, mine 5.
About a third of one. Thanks.
My truck out of there.
Okay.
The sprinkler system at the museum, is it completely irreparable or what?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They've been struggling with that for a while now. And basically, maintenance has gone down there and patched up what they could, but that sprinkler system is pretty old. It has copper tubing in parts of it, et cetera, et cetera.
We did, after talking to your office, I believe last few days, we did make a phone call to them, and they did call us this morning. They said the labor costs may go up a little bit on that bid, but the materials should stay
Okay,
about
but
the same.
this is materials.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Now, we can tell the museum that they need to hold on.
Is that an outside sprinkler or inside?
Yes, sir. No, it's not the fire sprinkler. And actually, it's gone.
Going up.
Yes, sir. The labor cost has gone up since we received the bid. The labor cost has gone up.
How many bids y'all receive on it, Jay? Do you remember?
We received 2 bids on it. These were approximately a few months ago, and Mr. Bobinger was in the process of trying to find other funding or whatever the case may be, and since then it was decided that it couldn't be funded somewhere else evidently, and like I said, we made a courtesy call yesterday to see if they'd still honor that bid because it was past 30 days. And they said that the labor costs could go up a little. That I don't think they give us a number yet. But on the sprinkler system, it's a constant battle for us. The copper lines are rotted. We're lack of anything else. I don't know if you know what an alligator bite clamp is. We're having to use that because the pipes are so thin in places and things. To say it could get another overhaul, certainly something we could look at. But we average I'd have to say probably 2 calls a month on sprinkler repairs.
You got any idea how many zones it has?
No, sir. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, it's around about 10 or 11.
Okay.
I know at one time I tried to program the time clock in it itself, and there were zones, overlapping zones, and timers, overlapping timers, and we've had that looked at, and they've made the modifications on it and their recommendations on it, but the actual, just the pipe themselves are what's given way. We've had some dead zones where the grass is just discolored and all. But certainly by all means, if that's what the court wishes, we could look at. One of the bids was severely higher than that, so this would be our recommendation if we did just do a total, revamp of the system.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
We're gonna come back and relook at this again later, or is this gotta be done today?
No, sir, we pretty much need to get it done because we're going to put our budget up for public review. So it needs to be done.
Well, we may not be able to get to $1.2 million.
Well, that's up to the court. So far, we have only cut out basically right around 42,000. So we're gonna have to eliminate some in the vehicles. We've already eliminated one.
What was the need of the jail as far as vehicles?
Transport was needing a new van, and then 2 of the transport vehicles needed to be traded out. The actual cars and Tahoes.
And then Byron said, you said y'all gonna give them 2 more cars?
No, sir, I was wrong. I was sitting here looking at it now. It's actually 3 for the jail. It had 3 for the jail, a 15-passenger van, the one that Paul has to be replaced, and then 2 transport cars that have to be replaced that are in there. They're in high mileage, and then the other vehicles, the other 8 are in patrol.
And 1 in animal control, I believe. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but.
Well, if it's animal control, then it's just going to show as part of its patrol. It doesn't specify animal control. It just says patrol here.
Okay.
These, you got any idea on the mileage on these vehicles at this time? I figured it. Huh? You got it?
Which one you want to know about?
Well, I know transport's probably gonna be the high mile vehicles, the really high mile vehicles.
Okay, well, I'll go down the list.
Tahoes.
On the mileage of it. Well, 2011, it has 155,780 miles on it. Every ACO truck is 155,309. Every one of our vans is 132,665. Now, this is several months ago. Well, these have continued to go up. The TRA vehicle has over 300 plus because they have to figure in the idle time on it. We have a 2011, it's 136,700 miles on it. 2010 Crown Vic got 146,000. 2012 Tahoe, 124,000. 11 Crown Vic got 129,000. 2012 Tahoe, 126,280. And 2012 Tahoe's got 136, 115.
So they all from 120,000 to 150,000.
Yes.
I'm bumping 60.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Now, so this list here, number of vehicles y'all gave us, it's not a good list, or is it a good number?
It's as accurate as the auditor's office can get it at this point in time. Because basically what we had to do was kind of go look at, now it's not completely because, like, do we not insure the Humvees?
They're insured for liability only.
Okay, okay. I was gonna say, because they don't show up as insured.
They're just liability only.
Okay. So it doesn't show those, it shows the vehicles that are in use or that we currently own.
Have y'all looked at these numbers?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying that the only place we have any room to cut is going to be in the vehicles. And I realize that with the Odyssey, you know, that the IT skyrockets up.
Yeah, we've been in pretty good shape
Yes, sir.
to reach that number.
Yes, sir.
No, it's gonna be awful
But
hard.
if we could,
What kind of longevity do we get out of that?
huh?
On the courts, the IT, what kind of longevity do we get out of that?
Oh, it's gonna have a maintenance. This is a one-time
Right.
basically setup. And then after that, we have a maintenance. But the maintenance is actually gonna go down. The big issue is that the county court and the county court at law, the county clerk, the district clerk cannot continue to operate without updating to a current system. It also affects the JP courts, it affects everybody.
What about the jail in on this? You know, we had before, we had special stuff we had to get for the sheriff. See,
Now,
this gonna integrate y'all too?
Yes, sir. He's keeping his Southern software.
Oh, okay.
No, he's keeping his Southern software. This is able to communicate with Southern software, so it is able to interact.
So they won't have to double entry.
Yeah, you won't have to do
So
double
it'll help the
entries.
jail too, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You won't have to do double
Okay.
entries, and so that eliminates some of the pressure at the jail also. And so that's, you know, if there were a way to go through and say, okay, let's split that or do something differently there, then we would recommend it to the court, but there's not.
Well, I mean, we've got this one big hit this year. You know, we gotta take everything away from everyone else to pay for it.
Well, and we don't want to take everything away, but if we could eliminate 2 or 3 vehicles, then that would help it.
What you wanna give, Sheriff? You don't want to got most of the vehicles. What you wanna give up?
If you ask me truthfully, nothing.
Well, I knew that was coming, but.
You know,
Well, what about going with this balance and then cutting it back next year, because you know you won't have that $700-something on it.
Yes, sir, but I think it would behoove us if we go ahead and reduce it this year, because we don't know what's coming next year. And I think that we need to be more prudent. We need to eliminate some of these vehicles. If we could eliminate 2 or 3 vehicles, then we would be okay. We have, I'm assuming that out of the 46 vehicles, we're replacing vehicles that are listed right there, right?
right.
Okay, so we're replacing vehicles, so that would basically leave the sheriff with 44 vehicles instead of 46 if we replace all of those. If we could take out 2 vehicles, then that would be $100,000. We would have only eliminated, we'd be down to 1.5, that's what we'd be down to. Which was not my goal, but at least it's closer. But I think we need to eliminate 2 or 3 vehicles. And the sheriff can tell us which one he wishes to eliminate. Right now, the sheriff has a total of almost $500,000 worth of vehicles.
I'd rather eliminate the one out of maintenance than I would at the sheriff's office.
Well, maintenance is down to vehicles that basically they try to keep in town. Because if they break down, then someone's going to have to come and get them.
What about the extension truck?
Oh, that's definitely an option.
I mean,
Extension
I
asks
don't think
for-
there's a whole lot wrong with that truck.
No? Okay.
That's $40,000 right there.
Okay, well, there's one. Okay. Sheriff, can we take you to 6?
He's in the hall right
He'll be
now.
right back.
Negotiate.
Then we could take the sheriff to 6 vehicles instead of the 8. Leave jail as it is because they're transporting prisoners, so you certainly don't want to put them in a precarious situation. And go to 6 vehicles for the sheriff. Everyone okay with that? Can go to 6 vehicles for the sheriff?
We'll wait till he comes back in, we'll know what we're doing to him.
I think they're discussing that work crew van. That'd be one out of the jail part.
Well, I do know that one of the vehicles requested for the sheriff was for animal control, and it was a 3/4 ton. What all did you have on your request? Do I need to go, I can go pull it for the vehicles for the sheriff?
Well, we were just discussing what we'll possibly give up. And I guess the right one. We have a vehicle that we could use in this one's place is a 3/4 ton 15 passenger van that we could possibly cut off.
Cut the van off?
So,
Huh?
Cut the van off?
Yes.
of the jail?
Yes.
Okay. And then what are we gonna cut out of the sheriff? We just need one,
Just need one. Which one you want?
whichever one you wanna give up.
Well, the only thing we have listed on there is Tahoes. And for the sheriff's office, for patrol.
Okay, so
That's all we
just
have
one?
listed on there.
Okay. Okay,
I don't
so
want to give one up, but if you want to take one from me, you can take it.
can I take two or just
That's what
one?
we're asking about. No, you can't take two. Just don't. No, we won't say anything about a bicycle.
Okay, so we remove one vehicle from the sheriff and one from the jail.
Do what, Jay?
What now?
Just instead of ease the cord a little bit, and I'm nothing against his maintenance and all over there, but the sheriff will let me take time to pick one of the Tahoes that I think might hold up and last us. If I could keep one of his on trade-in, against your advisement and others, but I'll give him that other truck if he can keep it. If I can pick one of the Tahoes and tell y'all that I think it's worth us keeping and for what we got to do. I kind of agree and not
So you're gonna
delaying
take
you.
two trade-ins?
I'm gonna take the one, if I can get the Suburban, and let, due to the nature of them traveling as much as they have to, let them get the new vehicle over emergency management. And if I can find one good enough from the sheriff that I think will hold us up here in town.
Okay, you are committing to it.
Yeah,
You are committing to it.
Yes.
Okay,
You'll pick the
that's all we
best
need to
one.
know.
I'll pick the best one. If we make sure it gets put on the trade that it's coming to our department, I'll
Well,
will.
and we've already discussed that with Captain Sanders, and he's gonna bring it, and we're gonna sit down and talk about it so that we don't have another incident happen like last time, you know, where people didn't know where vehicles were going. Okay?
just, since none of you are leaving office this year, just remember this next year for me. Thank you.
Hey, we tried this year.
I know, and I appreciate it, I really do, but I can make do if, just being honest, if I can hand pick which one that I think
Okay.
will hold up to us.
Do you have a problem with that, Sheriff? Him hand picking one of them?
I have no problem with it at all.
Okay.
Okay, so we're eliminating,
As long as I get to keep my new one.
we're gonna eliminate two vehicles from maintenance, we're eliminating the extension truck, and eliminating emergency management, keeping Constable Precinct 4, trade-in, we're eliminating one vehicle for the jail and leaving the 8 replacements for the sheriff. Is that what everyone agrees to? That's what we have so far.
Doing what now? Yeah, legal 8 replacement for the sheriff, you have 6.
Well, what just happened
Be one out of jail and one out of sheriff's.
is one out of jail and basically one out of the sheriff's department.
And then one going to,
And then one going to
I thought if
maintenance.
you was one, you took one.
That's what we just did.
Yeah.
Maintenance gave up their truck and gave it to the sheriff, and the sheriff is going to get
Oh.
a trade-in.
Jay gets to hand pick it though.
Okay.
So we
So we're
eliminate,
still down 3 vehicles.
we eliminate one vehicle from the jail and we eliminate one vehicle from the sheriff's department.
Is one of these trucks the animal control
And
truck, or
then
y'all getting
no
another?
vehicles for maintenance.
That's right, no
That
vehicles for
3/4 ton
maintenance,
four-wheel
no
drive, y'all
vehicles for
trading it?
extension,
Yes.
no vehicles for emergency management.
Judge, if you, one for emergency management.
Yeah, you gotta have
Took
one.
it out?
Yeah, I'm getting a Suburban.
He's getting a
Yeah,
Suburban.
Okay,
yeah.
yes, we added
getting
that one
them
in.
SUV.
Excuse me, you are correct. We added in the one for emergency management.
Jay doesn't give it all up.
Yeah, he did.
Got to
Missing a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. That's just a swap. One.
Okay, so maintenance is gonna take 2 trade-ins, including the Emergency Management Suburban. Emergency Management receives 1 vehicle. The jail receives 2 vehicles. Constable Precinct 4 receives 1 vehicle. The sheriff receives 7 vehicles. Are we all on the same page?
Yes.
Is that what we all agreed to?
So, I thought he was getting a vehicle,
Tommy,
giving it up.
hush.
Giving it up. You're getting a vehicle. I thought the sheriff's still gonna get 8.
No.
No, he's just gonna get 7. Okay.
That's up to y'all.
All right. Leave it alone.
Are we all in agreement?
I think so, yeah.
You can tell Commissioner Whitfield to hush.
Trying to help the sheriff out.
Okay,
Yeah, I still need that 7th vehicle.
Yeah, it's 7.
There's 7.
you're getting 7.
7.
We can discuss
Six,
it
now
some
you
more.
get 7.
Excuse me. You gotta speak up a little bit. I can't hear.
Okay,
Write it on here.
we will get that total. So is everyone okay with this? It's our capital projections. Our debt's gonna be high. The last time we went with 1.5, that the court went with 1.5 was this 2014.
Yeah, we got, like I say, we got this big software in here this year too.
Yes, sir?
That's half of it.
But in 2016, we had $145,000 worth of debt. 2017, nothing, and then this year we're bumping $1 million. And our goal is basically to stay under $1 million. And that's because last year we also added the Tyler Technologies. We added a big IT line item last year, which was the financial package. So if everyone's comfortable,
We're comfortable.
very well. So we're going to approve the capital projections as presented. Let me go back and find my agenda. It should be on E. Okay, let's go ahead and approve those as discussed. Capital projections. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Commissioner Willis.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Overstreet. Any further discussion or questions on that? Nope. Okay. Okay, let's roll on through the rest of this. On page 6, you see our debt schedule. And we did include the 2018 tax notes, just kind of an estimate based on what we already had. Of note is that in 2023 is when your Series 2015 tax notes will fall off and the Judicial Center will fall off. And then in 2027, the jail expansion, that's when it will roll off also. Otherwise,
Looks really good after that.
all our debt services, yeah, well, after that, there's no tax notes either. So of course it looks good. Okay, so after that, you'll have additional tax notes. We do get a reprieve because of the tax notes that were issued in 2016 and then 2017, with only having $145,000 one year and none the next. So there'll be a reprieve in there that will allow us to spread out some of this other debt. Okay, with the tax notes, we can spread it out where it doesn't hit the county too hard. Okay, page 7 is Road and Bridge. So we will leave that to you all. Page 8 is when it goes through and it tells you the employee retiree health benefits. And again, and then Lori, of course, told us now that the Cadillac tax has been delayed to 2025. But at the last notification we received was 2022, and so you'll see that noted in there. And that's just a breakdown of the people that are in the retiree health benefits and the potential. If you turn to page 10, then you see the potential to qualify for retiree benefits. The yellow, the people listed in yellow are eligible to retire and receive benefits in this year. So that's for your 2019. And what it would cost the county. Page 12 goes through and gives you the health benefits. And basically, if you look at it, it was implemented in 2006. And it started out as a pay-as-you-go. And then in 2011, the trust fund was established. And the amounts that were deposited into the eligibility were below the actuarial, and so we're trying to catch up. But that kind of gives you the status of those benefits. Okay, then on page 12 starts the general fund. If you go to page 13, you just have some different funds. You have the federal payment in lieu of taxes from the federal government to the county has gone down, and so we've adjusted our estimates for that. If you look on page 14, the bond forfeiture recovery from the DA's office, our projected and adopted for last year was $20,000, and the amount deposited has been zero, so zero has been collected, and so we're taking that to zero. They're not pursuing the bond forfeitures. The reimbursement of house of inmates to the jail.
Who would do that?
What's that?
Besides them, who would do that? You talking about bond forfeitures?
Yes, sir. That's strictly the district attorney's choice.
Okay.
So they don't, somebody skips a bond and they don't?
When I visited with Mr. Hahn, he said they were pursuing some, but it was minimal. And so I don't know exactly how many they are or not pursuing. I just know that the amount of money deposited into the county was zero. So
Bond out, jump bound, in Polk County, you're all right.
Yep, I get it.
So there's been no money deposited. So we are going to go ahead and zero that out because we don't want to count on it as a budget and not have it in there. You do have a change on the reimbursement on the housing of inmates. We modified that. We had originally in this budget year we had $25,000 in there, but we didn't pursue any of those through the sheriff. But now the sheriff has done the MOU with Liberty County, and so we reinstated that money, but we reinstated it at $15,000 instead of $25,000. You can skip a few pages because there's not a whole lot of changes. If you go to Commissioner's Court on page 17, we put in there the contribution, the actuarial contribution. Last year for the retirees, we put in $500,000, and based on the information that they gave us when they came to court, we took it to $567,500. So that was an increase of $67,500. And then the contingencies, which is with the court, we increased that. There's not much change on page 18. Let's see. Next one on page 21, County Court at Law. We had an increase in the request for attorney fees for County Court at Law. We had an increase in the amount of $50,000. And so that's in the budget. The district clerk, we had a request for an additional deputy clerk. That's on page 22. We also had a request in the county clerk's office for an additional clerk. And then the next change from the previous is on page 27. And again, in attorney's fees, in the district courts, excuse me, they're asking for an increase in each court in the amount of $15,000. And they're also asking for an increase for investigations and expert witnesses in the amount of $4,000. And that's for Polk County only. Okay, that's for Polk County cases only. Everything else, if you'll notice, there's a note there about Polk County, like on their attorney fees, it says Polk County cases only. That's because the district court expenses are split out between us, Trinity County, and San Jacinto County. And it's a pro rata basis. Okay, and then on the next page, page 30, we had a request from our auditor to use a consultant, so there's some increase in that budget, but actually it's just a shift to outside contract services instead of part-time. Page 31 and 32, your tax assessor collector voter registration cards, that goes down because those will be budgeted next year. That's not a yearly expense, and that's in the amount of $11,100. Go to the next page, page 33. We had some increases in changes in the technology, and so there was an increase in that because we have, at this time, we do not have the capability to store some of our data and information, and so that will have to be changed. Page 34, maintenance had an increase of $5,000 for furnished transportation. They also had a request for reclassification pending the results of salary study. Page 35, also maintenance, repair replacement on buildings and automotive maintenance due to the age of their vehicles. And then otherwise, not really many changes. On page 36, the volunteer fire departments, we had some interest in increasing that. I was contacted by the fire chiefs, and they said they don't want to make any changes at this time, but that if they do have a request, then they will approach the court with an organized request. And then there's really not a whole lot of other change till you get to page 40. And this is in the Sheriff's Department. There's an increase of $8,664. And that's in their different abilities to communicate, and that's through the Texas DPS report records management system. Originally, a portion of that the sheriff was paying through his seizure and forfeiture, and he had requested that the paging be added to the county in 2018. He was paying it through asset forfeiture. Flip the page, page 41, social services. We got an increase in indigent health care. Those are costs that we can't control. And Barbara does a good job of kind of keeping up with that. And so that's what the trend shows. The museum, the only change request was really the sprinkler system, extension. We lost one position. We added some monies to the agents to get us in line with the rest of the state, and everything else we kept the same. On page 43, we did have an increase in the appraisal district budget, and our autopsies stay the same. We are going to make sure that we monitor that closely, because one of the issues that we've been having in the county is that some of our surrounding counties basically transport people to the hospital, and they're basically already deceased, and they want the Polk County to pay for the autopsies. So we are going to keep an eye on that. Okay, page 46. We had an increase in the cost for employee physicals, and then we had a request for certification, and we do pay for certifications, so that was added. Page 47, we had a request for, and we've included in here, for a part-time secretary in environmental enforcement. We've also made arrangements at his request for additional training, because he does understand that that he has some difficulties in terms of some of his computer skills, and so we've made arrangements to provide assistance for him with that. And then basically we get to the hotel motel tax. One note is that our energy savings program has been working. It is balancing out and providing assistance in terms of paying for some of our new equipment. And then we get to road and bridge. I'm just going to skip through that because so if you skip through all of road and bridge, the summary for road and bridge is on page 63. And building security. And I don't think there's a whole lot after that. There were revisions or changes. Depository interest, we have an increase since we're putting more into the retiree. That's on page 75. Obviously, since we're putting more into the retiree benefits trust, then it's creating a change also. Okay, those are the majority of the changes. So if you will go to the last two pages, page 81 and 82, then you'll see the overview all the way around. I did have someone ask about the federal state funding. If you look at it, it looks like a drop. And so at this point in time, the historical grant, planning grant, those monies are not in there because we have not received them. Any questions? Okay, on that last page, on page 81 and 82, you can see the comparison between what was adopted, amended, subject to the auditor, final audit, and then the requests and how they compare from year to year. Tried as much as possible to get you, the information last time so that there wouldn't be a whole lot of changing. But if you do have any questions or anything specific you want us to look up or consider, well then please send it to me. Okay, schedule a public hearing on the 2019 budget. So we're going to schedule a public hearing for Tuesday, September 11th, 2018 at 9:30 a.m. in the Commissioner's Courtroom of the Polk County Courthouse in Livingston, Texas, to receive comments regarding the FY 2019 budget. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Overstreet. Any further discussion or questions?
What was that date?
That would be on September the 11th at 9:30. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we will post the proposed budget up for public comment.
We done?
You're done.
Motion to adjourn.
It's your turn.
Second.
111.
Thank you, Mayor.